The Senate will come to order. The Secretary will call the roll.
Senator Brooks, Senator Buck, Senator Canizaro, Senator Dennis, Senator Doñate, Senator Dondero Loop, Senator Gokachia, Senator Hammond, Senator Hansen, Senator Hardy, Senator Harris, Senator Kiekeffer, Senator Lang, Senator Neal, Senator Orenshaw, Senator Pickard, Senator Ratty, Senator Scheibel, Senator Sievers-Gansert, Senator Settlemeyer, Senator Spearman.
Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Madam President. Please mark Senator Spearman excused.
Thank you. Let the record reflect there are 20 senators present, and Senator Spearman is excused. Please rise for the prayer and invocation by the Reverend J.J. Tuttle of the Connected Church of the Nazarene of Carson City.
Thank you, Madam President. Let's pray. Gracious God, we thank you for this opportunity to open this body today. We thank you for each and every one who is here today. You have blessed us with supportive people who genuinely seek the welfare of your people and the people of the state of Nevada. Loving God, we thank you most of all for being here in our midst. Let your presence be made known and lead us as a Senate today. Thank you, God, for we know that you are always here to support your people. We give you thanks and we give you praise. Amen.
Thank you. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Reading and approval of the journal. By previous order of the Senate, the reading of the journal is dispensed with, and the President and Secretary are authorized to make the necessary corrections and additions. Order of business number 4, reports of committee.
Madam President, Committee on Revenue and Economic Development, to which was referred Senate Bill number 25, has the same under consideration based with leave to report. The same back recommendation do pass. Signed, Senator Dina Neal, Chair. End of report.
Thank you. Order of business number 6, messages from the Assembly.
Assembly Chamber, Carson City, March 15, 2021. To the Honorable Senate, I have the honor to inform your Honorable Body that the Assembly in the state passed Assembly Bills number 72, 136, signed Carol A. Lasella, Assistant Chief Clerk of the Assembly. End of report or messages.
Thank you. Order of business number 8, waivers and exemptions.
Notice of exemption, March 16, 2021. The Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standard Rule 14.6, has determined the exemption of Senate Bills numbers 233 and 234. Signed, Wayne Thorley, Fiscal Analysis Division. End of exemptions.
Thank you. Order of business number 9, motions, resolutions, and notices.
Senate Joint Resolution number 7, introduced by Senator Dondero Loop and Assemblyman Roberts, proposed to amend the Nevada Constitution to remove constitutional provisions governing the election duties of the Board of Regents of the State University and authorize the legislature to provide by statute for the governance of the State University and for the auditing of public institutions of higher education in this state. End of resolution.
Thank you. Senator Scheibel. Good morning, Senator Scheibel. Never mind. You look nice and green. You're a day early. Senator Dondero Loop?
Thank you very much. I move that SJR 7 be referred to your Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Dondero Loop has referred Joint Resolution 7 to the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senate Concurrent Resolution number 6, introduced by Senator Orenshaw, expresses support of expanding the testing capacity for COVID-19 in Nevada through the use of pooled saliva testing. End of resolution.
Thank you, Senator Orenshaw.
Thank you, President. I move that Senate Concurrent Resolution 6 be referred to the Committee on Health and Human Services.
Thank you. Senator Orenshaw has referred Senate Committee Resolution 6 to the Committee on Health and Human Services. Are there any objection to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senator Dondero Loop has approved the addition of Senator Scheibel as the sponsor of Senate Bill 173.
Thank you. Senator Scheibel?
My apologies. I would like to move to take SB 103 from the Secretary's desk and place it on the general file for the next legislative day.
Thank you, Senator Scheibel. You have heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And that concludes order of business number 9.
Thank you. Order of business number 10, introduction, first reading, and reference.
Madam President?
Yes. Senator
Madam President, may
Cannizzaro?
we briefly go to order of business 16?
Yes, order of business 16, remarks from the floor. Introduction of guests.
Thank you, Madam President. And I appreciate the indulgence to take this a little early, but we are joined remotely, although we can't see them here today, by the members of our Nevada Youth Legislature. And it is my privilege today to recognize 18 of the most outstanding student leaders in our own state. And of course, I am referring to those same current members of the NYL, as it is commonly referred to, Nevada Youth Legislature. The NYL was statutorily created in 2007 by a bill sponsored by Senator Valerie Weiner. Its mission focuses on giving students an active voice in representative state government. And since its creation, more than 210 high school students have been provided with an opportunity to serve as youth legislators. We are very proud of this legislative leadership program and greatly appreciate its impact on the youth of Nevada. Through the years, others have also recognized the unique and exemplary impact of the NYL. To date, the NYL program has received more than 50 state, national, and international awards. So who are these amazing Nevada youth legislators? They are high school students who are appointed by their elected senators to represent the youth of their districts. During their involvement in this 2-year program, youth legislators spend their first year in rigorous half-day monthly trainings, which I know many of us have been to watch them at work, covering such skills as message accountability, listening, presentations, constituent outreach, negotiating, and so much more. During their second year, youth legislators focus on the legislative process, from framing bill ideas to drafting legislation, to narrowing down their 18 bill proposals to 1 bill draft request. Unlike any other program in this country, the NYL is statutorily allocated 1 bill on a youth-related issue each legislative session. This afternoon, we will be joined by NYL members who will virtually attend and participate as witnesses during a Senate committee hearing on Senate Bill 108. This is the NYL's bill this session, and it addresses inequities in the juvenile justice system. Today, as youth legislators visit this floor session virtually, which they are with us online, and I know wanted to be able to watch our process before heading across the way to take a look at the assembly. We would like to honor 4 specific youth legislators who participated in the NYL at the highest level during their 2-year terms. Each of them attended 100% of all required meetings or trainings and engaged 100% in all required assignments. These individuals are Youth Legislator Joanna Bieda, Youth Legislator Melekti Haley Miskell, and Youth Legislator Layla Moasesi, and Youth Legislator Kirsten Springer. They each will receive, and I have with me at my desk today, which we will be sending out to each of them, this certificate of recognition in the mail, complete with their distinction, their Senate district, and their name as a youth legislator who has participated with that 100% dedication. In addition to all of the 2019 and 2021 youth legislators, we are going to present each of them with these silver and blue commencement cords, which can be worn with their gowns, as some of us have done in the past, to acknowledge their successful completion of their NYL terms. And we celebrate them and the importance of their intelligent ideas, their meaningful work, and their dedicated service to the youth of their Senate districts and the entire state of Nevada. I would like to welcome all of my colleagues in joining me in honoring the 2019-2021 Nevada Youth Legislators for who they are, how they have chosen to serve, and how they will continue to demonstrate their distinctive leadership in our state and beyond. We give a special thanks to each of them and also to Senator Valerie Weiner, who serves as the chair of the NYL board. And Madam President, I have had the privilege of being able to sit with our NYL members for previous cohorts and then also for these 2019-21 graduates, and they are just exemplary students. It's hard to believe, frankly, that they're just of high school age and maturity and intelligence, because their meetings are conducted so eloquently, and they're so smart and so engaged with one another and with the other students that they represent. It's truly an honor to be able to be with them, and I have no doubt that each of them will go on to do pretty amazing things because they're just amazing students. And I would encourage anyone who is free this afternoon to join them in their presentation of Senate Bill 108. Last session, I chaired the meeting where they presented their youth legislator bill, which ultimately made it out of the legislature and was signed into law, and was a great bill, and very much looking forward to their work today, and so wanted to have everyone join me in honoring this newest class from the NYL. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Cannizzaro. Do we want to go back to Order of Business 10 now? All right. Order of Business 10, Introduction, First Reading, and Reference.
Senate Bill number 252 by Senator Pickard, et cetera, extends a period during which certain complaints may be filed with State Contractors Board under certain circumstances. Refer to Commerce and Labor. Senate Bill 253 by Senator Settlemyre revises provisions relating to alarm systems. Refer to Government Affairs. Senate Bill 254 by Senator Neal revises provisions relating to discrimination in housing. Refer to Government Affairs. Senate Bill 255 by Senator Neal creates a division of supplier diversity within the Office of Economic Development. Refer to Revenue and Economic Development. Senate Bill 256 by Senator Keycapper requires the Secretary of State to establish a system for the electronic circulation and signing of petitions for initiative or referendum. Refer to Legislative Operations and Elections. Senate Bill 257 by Judiciary revises provisions relating to issuance coverage for certain common interest insurance coverage for certain common interest communities. Refer to same. Senate Bill 258 by Senator Scheibel, et cetera. Assemblywoman Wynn, et cetera, makes various changes relating to corrections. Refer to Judiciary. Senate Bill number 259 by Senator Dennis revises provisions relating to operators of tow cars. Refer to Growth and Infrastructure. Senate Bill 260 by Senator Cannizzaro revises provisions relating to Internet privacy. Refer to Commerce and Labor. Senate Bill 261 by Senator Settlemyre revises provisions relating to actions to collect a consumer debt. Refer to Judiciary. Senate Bill 262 by Senator Settlemyre, et cetera. Assemblywoman Titus, et cetera, establishes provisions requiring the award of reasonable attorney's fees under certain circumstances. Refer to Judiciary. Senate Bill 263 by Senator Settlemyre revises provisions relating to elections. Refer to Legislative Operations and Elections. Assembly Bill 72 by Assembly Committee on Natural Resources revises provisions relating to Nevada State Board on Geographic Names. Refer to Natural Resources. Assembly Bill 136 by Assemblywoman Bilbray Axelrod, et cetera, adopts changes to the revised Uniform Athletes Agents Act. Refer to Education and to bills.
Thank you, Senator Roddy.
Thank you, President. I move to refer Senate Bills numbers 252 through 263 and Assembly Bills numbers 72 and 136 as read to the committee set forth on the list located at your desks.
Thank you. Senator Roddy has moved to refer Senate Bills 252 through 263 and Assembly Bills numbers 72 and 136 as read to the committees set forth on the list located at your desks. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
And that concludes Order of Business number 10.
Thank you. Order of Business number 12, second reading.
Senate Bill number 31, introduced by Senate Committee on Judiciary, makes various changes relating to public safety. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 31, ordered to the general file.
Senate Bill number 90, introduced by Senator Hardy, revises provisions relating to regulation of providers of health care. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 90, ordered to the general file.
And that concludes Order of Business number 12.
Thank you. Order of Business 13, general file, third reading.
Senate Bill number 98, introduced by Senator Settlemyre, et cetera, and Assemblyman Wheeler, makes various changes to provisions relating to Carson Water Sub-Conservancy District. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 3 of this act becomes effective on July 1, 2021. End of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Settlemyre.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 98 expands the boundaries of the Carson Water Sub-Conservancy District to include the portions of Story County that are within the Carson River Hydrologic Basin. The measure expands the membership of the Board of Directors of the Carson Water Sub-Conservancy District from 11 to 13 members by including 2 residents of Story County appointed by the Board of County Commissioners of Story County. The measure excludes the portions of Story County, though, that are within the district from the taxable property. on which the Board of Directors is authorized to levy a certain tax. Instead, the Board of County Commissioners of Story County has decided to pay the district from the county's general fund an amount equal to what would have been generated by such tax on the portion of Story County that is within the Carson River hydrological basin. The bill is effective on July 1st, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Settlemyre. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the secretary will open the roll. All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? Okay, the secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 98 is 20 in favor, 0 against, 1 person excused. The bill, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Order to the Assembly.
Senate Bill Number 110, introduced by Assemblyman Frierson and V. Miller, revises the Nevada Lobbying Disclosure and Regulation Act. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 4 of this act becomes effective upon passage and approval. End of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Orenshaw.
Thank you, President. Assembly Bill 110 revises the Nevada Lobbying Disclosure and Regulation Act by removing the requirement that in order to be designated as a lobbyist, a person must physically appear in the legislative building or other building where the legislature or its committees hold meetings. Assembly Bill 110 clarifies that a person is not considered to be a lobbyist if he or she communicates with members of the legislative branch on an infrequent or irregular basis and does not otherwise engage in lobbying activities. Finally, the measure specifies the registration requirements that are applicable during the 81st legislative session to a person who, on or after the effective date of this bill, would qualify as a lobbyist.
Thank you, Senator Orenshaw. Further remarks. Senator Settlemyre.
Thank you, Madam President. I was curious if you, I heard the question asked in committee, but I'm a little bit perplexed because the bill says, you know, how many people do you have to contact to be considered a lobbyist? And I remember the question being asked in the committee, and unfortunately the speaker was not able to answer it. You know, if you decide to, you know, talk to the whole committee, does that make you a lobbyist? Or is it if you talk to the whole floor of the legislative body? So those are one of the concerns I had, maybe he could address, but I'm also very troubled by the idea that we're telling lobbyists that we're going to charge them, yet they're not in the building. I have no problem charging people that are coming in this building, but the fact that they're just being relegated to calling in on a phone, most of them, and we're going to charge them, I'd have no problem, like I said, if we opened it up. But I'm perplexed about that. But if we could ask the question, how many people does it constitute to be considered a lobbyist that you need to contact? How many legislators?
Senator Orenshaw.
Thank you, Madam President. And this bill, Assembly Bill 110, was amended in the Assembly to include what was referred to in committee as a grassroots advocate exception, and that is found on page 3 of the amended bill. That persons who confine their lobbying activities to communicating directly with one or more members of the legislative branch only on an infrequent or irregular basis, who do not otherwise engage in any lobbying activities unless those persons engage in a pattern of conduct that is substantially similar to engaging in lobbying activities on a recurrent or regular basis. To my colleague from Douglas County, President, there's no number specified in the bill, and that's for a reason, because NRS 218H.505 gives the duties of administration and interpretation of Chapter 218H to the Director of the Legislative Council Bureau. And that's the way it's been done in the past. That's the way it would continue under this bill. This bill did pass unanimously in the Legislative Operations and Elections Committee. I do believe it is needed for us to get a handle on who's lobbying this session, and I do urge its passage.
Thank you, Senator Orenshaw. Senator Hansen.
Thank you, Madam President. The only question I've got on it, obviously this is because of COVID and the current, the fact that we've closed the building, that there's no sunset in the bill. I mean, what I would like to see, I mean, I don't think the bill is a big issue one way or the other, frankly, but the fact that we're deleting appears in person in a legislative building as the definition of a lobbyist, you know, it is the lobby of the legislature that gives it its name. So I was kind of hoping there'd be a sunset, and the fact that this would go back to the original law that we have right now on the books once we lift the restrictions on allowing people into the building. But I don't see any sunset in it, so that would be one of my issues. And frankly, I think that, you know, I've been frankly desperate to get people to talk to rather than through the unfortunate communication methods that are so inferior to a face-to-face type of arrangement. So I'm going to actually vote no on this bill simply because of the absence of a sunset and because I think a lobbyist actually should be allowed into the building. That's actually the real definition of a lobbyist. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Hansen. Senator Orenshaw, were you trying to make another comment, or did you want to respond to Senator Hansen's query?
Briefly respond, President. No, there's no sunset in the bill, and certainly I think, as we've all seen, there are many different ways to lobby now, even if someone doesn't physically enter the building. This bill does add that grassroots advocacy exception, which had not been in NRS 218H before, so I think that it actually addresses the concern of trying to protect grassroots activists who infrequently contact their legislators and are not demonstrating a pattern of lobbying, and I do again urge its support.
Thank you, Senator Orenshaw. Senator Pickard.
Thank you, Madam President. And I actually support the idea of expanding our definition to lobbyists that don't necessarily enter the building, particularly given that I suspect a lot of the lobbying that's going to happen now that we've experienced virtual meetings is going to continue in the virtual space. My concern actually deals with the grassroots exception that we've inserted. As I've read that, I can see more than one way to interpret that, and it leaves in the hands of one person, presumably, the ability to pick and choose who, and no, I'm not trying to cast aspersions on any current director or staff member, but the internal inconsistency of the language of subsection H gives me some concern. It would allow a director to choose a lobbyist maybe that they didn't like in order to exclude them or make them pay the fee. So I think because of the lack of specificity, the multiple interpretations that can arise, I'm not going to be able to support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pickard. Senator Hardy.
Thank you, Madam President. Simple question, do they get a blue badge?
Madam President, if I may
Senator
address.
Orenshaw.
Thank you, President. To my colleague from Boulder City, yes, NRS 218H.300 is not changed by Assembly Bill 110. And to you and through you, President, to my colleague from Henderson, while NRS 218H.505 does allow the Director of the Legislative Council Bureau to administer the lobbying statute and to make interpretations, NRS 218H.530, also not changed by AB 110, allows anyone who feels that they have been incorrectly labeled a lobbyist when they're a grassroots advocate to appeal the decision of the Director to the full Legislative Commission. So there is an appeal route if, let's say, someone feels that the Director has made an error. That doesn't change in Assembly Bill 110.
Thank you, Senator Orenshaw. I believe Senator Pickard wants to follow up query.
Yes, and thank you to my colleague from Senate District 21. And I'm aware of the appeal process. Because that's the Legislative Commission, it generally doesn't meet frequently during the session. I think we end up putting off that appellate process for some time during the session and could conceivably cause someone to miss out on their right to appeal to their legislators without the payment, particularly problematic if they can't afford to pay that. So I agree. I like where this is going. I agree with the intent. I just think that the language is broad enough and over-inclusive enough that I just can't support it as it's written. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pickard. Senator Ratty.
Thank you, President. I would like to speak in favor of AB 110, and I have a pretty strong difference of opinion with many of the comments that have been made today, so I'd like to try to lay that out. First of all, I, like many of my colleagues, have multiple ways out in the universe that you can get in touch with me. My cell phone is out there, my email telephone is out there, my emails, my Facebooks, my Twitters, you name it. It's all out there, and I am regularly contacted by lobbyists through all forms of communication, far more so than by folks coming in the building during the limited time that we're in session. And that was true before the pandemic. and that will be true following the pandemic. And so I actually think that this bill does something that we should have done a long time ago, which is strikes a blow for transparency for who is actually contacting your legislators to lobby on specific issues, regardless of whether that's an in-person conversation. I would say, as a percentage, a significantly higher amount of my conversations with folks who are lobbying for, who are paid by somebody to lobby for issues in this building happen in a virtual format of some kind and not in a face-to-face or in this building. So that's the first thing. So I absolutely do not believe it should have a sunset, because moving forward, particularly with the strong adoption of all of us getting used to talking to each other through screens and different mechanisms, I think a lot of people are going to be outside the building when they're talking to us. Second, much prior to the pandemic and before the need for this legislation, I was regularly contacted by citizen lobbyists who were unclear about whether or not they had to register to lobby. And I think this bill goes a long ways to clarifying it. Is there a perfect definition of when you've crossed that line from being an occasional advocate for an issue in your neighborhood to regularly contacting the legislature? I don't know that it's possible to write that perfectly, but this has significantly more clarity than we had before and has an appeal process, which we did not have before. So again, I think for those folks who are in good spirit, in the best of intentions, trying to figure out where they land, our staff has always done a lovely job of reaching out to folks and saying, hey, we've seen you quite a bit. You should probably be registered now. You're crossing that line. We haven't been punitive. We haven't been any of those things. We want people to engage in this process. And so I think it's critically important, and again, that we are striking a blow for transparency here to make sure that we know and the public knows who is contacting us in order to, in many cases, who's paid to contact us in order to advocate for an issue. So I strongly support this bill, and I thank the folks who've put a lot of time and energy into figuring out how to do this right.
Thank you, Senator Ratty. Senator Hardy.
Thank you, Madam President, for a second time. I look forward to the day where I can see the blue badge in the lobby. And I was told by a formerly known as, quote, lobbyist, that no one now is allowed to buy me lunch, otherwise they would be a lobbyist, or the proverbial cup of coffee that I don't drink. I'm wondering about the use of resources that the lobby fees will go for. I've talked with a formerly known as lobbyist about the committee views when they are watching committee, that they see the speaker view, but they don't see the committee members, and we are told to make sure we put ourselves on video. And the enforcement of the texts, the emails, and the phone calls that we get that aren't from necessarily somebody who has figured out how to call himself or herself a lobbyist or a grassroots person. There are enough concerns about this that I will not be voting yes, but do understand the need to have some clarity. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Hardy. Senator Hammond.
And thank you, Madam President. Just to the sponsor, again, of the bill, talking about the blue badge, and obviously when we're here in the building, a badge must be worn as to demonstrate who is lobbying. If we are to meet somebody outside, maybe in the interim, even during this session, but we meet them somewhere else, is that requirement going to be placed upon them? Will they need to wear the badge so we know who they are or other people can recognize them? Or is it only, again, strictly in the building?
Thank you, Senator Hammond. Senator Orenshaw.
Thank you, President. To you and through you to my colleague from Senate District 18. Assembly Bill 110 does not change the language at 218H.300 regarding identification badges. The only addition is that it does add the language during a regular or special session. The current language in 218H.300 is that someone who's deemed a lobbyist by the Director of the Legislative Council Bureau must wear the identification badge whenever they appear in the legislative building. This does add the language during a regular or special session, which was not in the existing NRS. Otherwise, no change.
Thank you, Senator Orenthal. Does that answer your question, Senator Hammond? Thank you. Senator Hansen? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Senator Hansen.
Thank you, Madam President, for the second bite at the apple here. The issue that comes up to me is, while I respect my colleagues' comments from District 13 about open and transparency involving our texts and emails and all the social media ways that people can get a hold of us, I'm very uncomfortable with the fact that to be a professional lobbyist, they have to pay a $300 fee now, even though they're not coming in the building, to simply send me an email and not violate this new law or a text. So we got to keep in mind that there is a substantial requirement that they have to pay to be a professional lobbyist, which traditionally was limited to those that came in the building and got the cards that we've been discussing. Now we're going to expand that to anyone, literally, that even sends me any kind of communication, even though they're not even allowed to come in the building. So that's where, that $300 sort of changes. It's more than just transparency. It's now a substantial financial burden to basically send an email to a legislator. So I'm still a strong no, but I am definitely in favor of transparency. I think that we either need to put a sunset in this, so as soon as we open this building up, it goes back to really only going after people that come into the building, and to force everyone out there to pay a $300 fine to send me a text just seems unreasonable to me. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Hansen. Senator Severs-Cancer.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be supporting Assembly Bill 110. When I looked at this legislation, I thought about the process and how we register lobbyists. And right now, it's contingent on being in a building, it's periodic, and we have not really considered technology that we use and we've been using for quite a long time. And I know when I've been looking at some of my bills and hearings coming up, I have questioned, like, who's the represented interest group, and I don't have that information right now because we don't have anybody registered, again, because it's been contingent upon being in a building, whereas right now, and probably moving forward, and actually in recent history, we've had technology which allows people to communicate on legislation and the process, and with each of us that have not been registered. So I think that this bill may not be perfect, but I do think that we need the transparency. I do think that we also need to consider probably registration that is annual or a certain time frame instead of periodic, because everything we have right now is periodic. So someone would have to register for this session, and then they'd have to register for special sessions, and I guess they'd pay a fee again if they had to re-register for a special session. Maybe that's a question. If you register once for a regular session and there's a special session in the same year, do you have to pay again because it's a different session? So again, the bill's not perfect, but I do really think transparency is critically important, and that while there is a fee associated with that, we do need to keep those records and make that information available to us and to the public. So I will be supporting this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Severs-Cancer. Did you guys want a 1-minute recess? No? All right. Okay then. Any further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll. Okay, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? Okay, Secretary will close the roll. The vote on AB 110 is 14 in favor, 6 against, 1 person excused. The bill, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
And that concludes order business number 13 and business of the desk for this legislative day.
Thank you. Order business 16, remarks from the floor. Anybody? All right. Senator Canizaro?
Thank you, Madam President. I did want to take one brief moment to note that I think several of us are wearing some of these lovely badges for Disability Awareness Day, and they're from constituents in our districts, I believe. Mine is from Kristen Doran, who lives in Assembly District 34, which is also right in the heart of Senate District 6 in Las Vegas. And so I am proud to be representing Kristen today, and to just say a huge thank you to all of the community groups, organizers, friends, and families who help to make sure that those who are part of our disabled community are able to fully enjoy life, and that we are providing services for them out in our communities and acknowledging them as members not only of our Senate districts, but also of our own communities. So I wanted to just take a moment because I noticed that many of us are wearing these badges, and certainly doing so proudly today in honor of Disability Awareness Day. With that, Madam President. Oh, and Madam President, I think there may be some additional remarks from the floor from my colleague in Senate District 9 who may not have a button that's fully working.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was distracted. Senator Scheibel, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, Madam Lieutenant Governor. And I think you're recognizing me to speak now, so I will take that opportunity to let my colleagues here know that today is also Equality Day at the legislature, and we have been joined by a group of groups of activists and advocates for the LGBTQ community, spearheaded by Silver State Equality, and they are a fantastic part of our community who have come to the legislature today, virtually this year, of course, to remind us all how important it is that we keep our LGBTQ friends and family in mind as we pass legislation through this House and through this body every single day. Nevada is very lucky, and I am very proud to be a part of that community that puts Nevada in the forefront of fighting for equality. We were the first state in the nation to recognize marriage equality regardless of gender in our Constitution last year, and that makes Nevada one of the best places to live if you're a member of the LGBTQ community, and that is thanks to legislators in this House and across the hallway in the Assembly who have consistently stood up for equality in all of its forms. And so I encourage you to all meet with the members of Silver State Equality and the other organizations who have come together for Equality Day, and to keep that in mind as we continue forward with the business of the Nevada State Senate. And thank you all for the hard work that you've already done, and thank you to the advocates who have taken the time out of their days and out of their schedule to meet with all of us and to share their thoughts and their experiences with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Scheibel. No further remarks? Okay. Senator Cannizzaro?
Thank you, Madam President. With that, I would move that the Senate stand in adjournment until the hour of 11 a.m. on Wednesday, March 17th, 2021.
Thank you. All right. We have, I just wanted to make a small comment. If you are interested, if you have a button, the the Legislative Police at the back entrance does Special Olympics, and he can tell you if the person on your button has participated in the Special Olympics, if you're interested in knowing. So we have Disability Awareness Day, Nevada Youth Legislature, and Equality Day. And in honor of those three things, you have heard the motion to adjourn till tomorrow at 11 a.m. All those in favor signify by saying yay. Nay. Motion passes. Thank you very much.